Vidura has come to invite Yudhishthira to Hastinapura. Your father, that is, Dhritarashtra, has sent me to invite you to gamble, and I am doing my duty in inviting you, says Vidura. Yudhishthira says, I see you're uncomfortable, as if you're asking me to do something that you don't like, but you don't want to stop me from doing it. Is that correct, uncle? Asked Yudhishthira. And Vidura replied, I'm asking you for a gambling game, and I know that whenever people gamble, there are always problems, and I'm worried this is going to be no different. Yudhishthira says, but if you're inviting me to gambling, as a Kshatriya, I don't have the freedom to say no. It would be like saying no to a call for a fight. So I am honor bound to come and play. Can you tell me who all are there? Vidura gives a long list of names in which there's also Shakuni. Yudhishthira says, by choice, I don't want to play with Shakuni because I know he's a cheat and he will deceive me. But I still want to come and play. And in no time, all the Pandavas have prepared and started to leave towards Hastinapura. And even as he is leaving, Yudhishthira has the premonitions of something going wrong. He says, destiny has robbed us of our sight. It shines a bright glare in our eyes, and we are walking, I feel, towards doom. They set out, reach Hastinapura, spend the night there, wake up, and go to the Sabha, which Yudhishthira describes as crowded with rogues and cheats. Yudhishthira has a word with Duryodhana and says, I am willing to gamble, and I know every gambling game is going to have some cheating, but remember that I have acquired all this money, all this gold, all these resources so that I am able to serve my people. Don't use deceit if you can, but if you do, don't cheat me so much that you win everything that I have. Limit your winnings. Let's stop it when it still makes sense. All of this is happening before the game has even begun. Duryodhana says, Shakuni will gamble from my side. Yudhishthira says, that seems unfair. Why don't you gamble by yourself? To which Duryodhana responds, if you are afraid, well, I can let you go. You don't have to play if you're scared of playing. Now, Yudhishthira can't obviously say no because he's now been questioned. He says, that's not a problem, let's play, and they start playing. Shakuni picks up the dice and asks Yudhishthira, what do you stake? Yudhishthira replies, I have these 1,000 horses that I'm willing to stake. And Shakuni announces, I have won them. What do you stake now? Yudhishthira says, I have these 1,000 elephants. I stake them. Shakuni says, I have won them also. What else do you have now? And this goes on and on and on until Yudhishthira has lost gold and silver and servants. There is not much left to lose now. And people, onlookers who are around, it is clear that this is proceeding towards a very wrong direction. Vidura gets up and shouts at Duryodhana and says, stop this madness. Vidura warns Duryodhana and tells him, like a madman is climbing a tree to get to honey without realizing that at the end of that branch is a big well into which he will fall and die. You are being extremely greedy, Duryodhana. Stop this now. Duryodhana says, O Kshatta, O Vidura, you are a servant. Stay in your limits and shut up. Let us play the game the way we want it. Shakuni once again taunts Yudhishthira and says, if you are afraid, we can stop. If you have the courage, let's continue. And the game begins anew once more. And the losing streak of Yudhishthira continues. Yudhishthira stakes something, Shakuni says, I have won that. Yudhishthira stakes something else, Shakuni has won that too. And before you know it, he's got nothing left over. And finally, Yudhishthira does the unthinkable. He points at his brother and says, "This is Nakula, the most beautiful, the most humble, the strongest, most well behaved dharmic person there is. He is my stake now." And Shakuni announces, "I have won him as well. He's going to be our slave now." The madness is fully upon Yudhishthira. He now stakes Sahadeva and loses, Arjuna and loses, Bhima and loses. And then finally, he stakes himself and says, "If I lose, I will be your slave forever." Shakuni wins Yudhishthira as well. And then taunts Yudhishthira once more. "I don't understand. Why, when you still had riches left in you, did you bet yourself?" Yudhishthira is confused. "I don't have anything else. I have lost all my kingdom, my brothers, and myself." To which Shakuni says, "You have a beautiful wife in Panchali. Why not bet her?" The madness has fully taken over Yudhishthira now. He says, "This wife of ours, the most beautiful woman in the world, I stake her in this game." And once again, Shakuni throws his dice. The whole Dyuta Sabha watches in horror, not knowing what happened. Vidura shouts, "Shame." They say sounds are heard from celestial beings and gods who have descended in the firmament to watch this game, and they all shout shame at Yudhishthira and Shakuni. But Dhritarashtra, the blind king, is blinded by greed also. He is excited by this. He screams, "Has Shakuni won? Has he won Draupadi?" But that's a story for another day. Okay, what is this game that Shakuni is playing? This has been a question of interest for readers of Mahabharata for the longest time. Was he really deceiving? Was there dice that were listening to him? There are local stories about how those dice were made out of the bones of his father and listened to his command. The critical edition of Mahabharata, or usually any edition of Mahabharata, does not get into the details of the game at all. It is believed that this gambling game was so common, that was played all around, that there was no need to explain the rules of the game. So, in spite of a lot of research, we today have no idea what that game is about at all. We don't know. Was there a board? Was this played using 2 dice, 4 dice? Was it played using cowdies? The word dice is mentioned once or twice, but that's about it. We are not even sure that the dice was used to play the game. It feels as if the dice is just around. This deeper dive does not take you any deeper, but instead leaves you in the shallow waters, because nobody knows what that game is. But one thing is clear: there was definitely no throwing of dice and betting on the outcome of that throw. This was not some kind of a board game or anything at all. Basically, we don't know what the game is. All we know is that Yudhishthira lost everything, and probably also his wife.